I am again the very lucky one to go after such an amazing presenter and such mind-blowing presentation. I do recommend the Pinot. Now, that being said, I'm the CEO of VIOOH, but what I'm going to be doing today is to really share with you a few strong statements. First one is, in vino veritas, for the one who do not speak Latin, that means if you drink wine, you will speak louder. No, that means in wine, you have the truth. And that's exactly going to be what I'm going to be sharing with you today. I'm going to be talking about some of the big trends for next year. And these big trends, we do not gather them because we are smart guys. We do gather them because we keep talking to smarter guys than us, who are the 200 exec in each of the 5 markets, which are UK, US, France, Germany, Australia. And we are asking to these guys who are exec in media agencies or brands, that means people just like her, what do they think about programmatic out-of-home? How do they use it? How do they see the trends going? And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about just right now. So the first one is, obviously, programmatic is adding incremental budget to digital out-of-home. And that's a damn good news, right? Because this is what we want. We want the pie to be bigger. And you would see, obviously, you've got the global metric, which are in green, and you've got the US metrics, which are in yellow. Because we do, obviously, all these studies and research in each of the 5 markets, but we compile all them to give you the global numbers. So what is important here to say is that, obviously, there is still a massive part which is coming from people who are advertising traditionally in the medium who are starting to move towards programmatic. But that's not the key point here, because we all knew that would happen. The key point here is to check what are the trends below that. New budget added, which means net incremental, 50% in the US, 37% on a global basis in all the other 4 markets I've just talked about. Money coming from the other digital budgets. In the US, 26%, globally 21%. And other traditional media, meaning money coming from print into programmatic out-of-home, 19% in the US, 21% on the global basis. Which means essentially that the majority of new incremental budget is coming into programmatic out-of-home. That's a great trend. And therefore, the more diversify your media ecosystem, the more incremental budget you can win and you can get. That's one great good news for next year. If now we are trying to really understand how programmatic out-of-home is planned and thought over the last 12 months and who has been buying it, you can see here that 58% were, or in 58% of the case, from a global standpoint, it was booked by programmatic or dedicated out-of-home team. In the US, the trend is much bigger, 75%, which means that you are in a situation where the trend last year was almost 50-50. It was in between out-of-home teams and programmatic digital teams. The balance is tipping towards the programmatic teams in the US. In the continental Europe, just 58%, not that much. But that means that with that, we are going to see a lot of very important people who are going to be actually starting to think about what they need to be able to do that. And then you've got out-of-home team, 47%, managed service DSP team, 24%, and so on and so forth. What is also very important here is to understand which are the other medium which are combining well with out-of-home. We had a very good presentation early on today from Jonathan from Adomni talking about the synergies between out-of-home and social media. But here you can see that it's absolutely obvious that from a social media standpoint, all across the board, from both performance campaign and brand campaign, this is social media which is combining the best with programmatic out-of-home. When it comes to the rest of the medium on a global basis, this is pretty much at the same level for the branding campaign. But if we look at the performance campaign, there is a small advantage for digital video advertising compared to digital audio. And here, obviously, we've got our friends from Kinetic in the US who've been very clear, stating that out-of-home helps to create more impact on other channels. And it's generally agreed that out-of-home, social, and TV amplify each other. And in the greater scheme of things, if we can get 10% coming from other budget into this industry, we've nailed it. This is where the big growth is going to come from. Now, the other point is maturity from the market, from the team who are booking, and we've talked about that, is also something which is very important because they have some very clear needs and they want to hear more about the best practice using data in order to better activate campaign, and they want to also understand how they can measure return on investment and attribution. As long as we won't be able to help them to do that better or to better understand how they can optimize that, they're not going to be investing much more, or they're not going to be materially increasing how much they're going to be spending. Which essentially means, so here you've got the numbers from the US, which are pretty much in the same pack, right? That means that beyond best practices, the ability to measure programmatic digital out-of-home efficiency is on its own, and together with the other channel becomes absolutely a clear need. And last but not least, growth is unlocked through audience data and precision targeting. We need to appreciate that, and when we ask, what do you really like, or what you would like to see in order to give more budget, they are very straightforward, right? Real-time audience data is the number one on a global basis. In the US, it goes together with more audience data and more option around precision targeting to be more efficient with a campaign in the market. So the more improvement we can bring into the audience, the better and the greater impact we are going to get in accessing new budget. What I've just talked about here is being summarized here on these 4 points. The more mature the market, the more programmatic out-of-home campaign fit within the multi-channel approach. It's not a big news if you really think about it, because we are coming late to the programmatic party. If we are getting with programmatic, more savvier market, we're going to get more budget. That's absolutely obvious. And we have a trend here, much stronger in the US. This is happening more so in the programmatic and digital team who are booking the campaigns. And as a consequence, there is a big opportunity to get net incremental budgets. It's already important, but it could be more. Increasing maturity means more sophisticated needs in data and cross-channel measurements. And that's going to be meaning the next challenge for us, because we're going to be compared to fully digital medium where you have a loop back of information coming from the screen. And last time I've checked, I've not seen a lot of people, except through a QR code, interacting with an action with one out-of-home screen. And that's one of the points that we need obviously to bridge. But last but not least, I think that we can safely say that growth is unlocked through audience data improvement and precision targeting. With that, you can log there, you can download the whole report, or you can simply open the leaflet, and on the second page, you've got a QR code to be able to do that yourself. Thank you so much, and I recommend the Pinot.